What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Patriots Real Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Diesenhaus. Today we are doing another solo show talking about the coordinator hires that the Patriots have made. They've officially filled out all three coordinator spots, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and of course special teams coordinator. We'll get to the names. We'll get to my thoughts on them. We'll get to some other reported hires, nothing official yet other than the coordinator hires. I believe the quarterback coach, the running back coach, I believe that's all, are reported to not be official, but they are reported. And then, of course, we'll talk about, not of course, but we'll talk about Mike Vrabel's Ernie Adams, that being Stretch, who Sean McVay, he's the other official guy. He's going to be Mike Vrabel's Ernie Adams. But without further ado, let's get into the show. Talk about Josh McDaniels. So let's get right into it. All right. So Josh McDaniels coming back for the third time. I really do like this hire. This is a guy that has experience calling plays, obviously. He's called plays here. He's called plays. I believe he might have been the offensive play caller in Denver and Las Vegas. I don't know that for sure, but I would assume so, but you never know. He was obviously the offensive play caller here for 9 years in a row, and then before that, he was here for 3 years, 2007, 2008, 2009. He got his job. He was here from 2006, 2007, and 2008. He got his job after that 2008 season and what he did with Matt Castle, and then, or with the Broncos, he got his job there, and then he got his job with the Raiders in 2022 after what he did with Cam Newton and Mac Jones. So he's back for the third time. Obviously, the head coaching career has not worked out very well, and Josh McDaniels will never get another head coaching job, which is a good reason for the Patriots to hire him, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about him being a flight risk and leaving the team at the altar almost, like other guys like Nick Caley, the guy they interviewed from the Bucs would. Other guys that are on the up and coming probably are going to be head coaches in 2 years. And obviously, if it goes so well that they are head coaches in 2 years, then, things are going really well. And Drake May's really good. But I like to have that longevity here. Obviously, Brady had the same coordinator. Like I said, McDaniels was here for 7 years with Brady from 2012 to 2019. And like I also said, 2006 to 2008. So he was here for 9 years with Tom Brady. 10 if you want to count the year that Brady was out for the whole season. And it's not like McDaniels has only had success with Brady. A lot of people like to tell you that. That's not true. They went 11-5 with Matt Castle in 2008. They went 10-7 with Mac Jones in 2021. People want to tell you that Mac Jones' rookie season was not good, and they're right. I'm the person that's trying to tell you that. Me and Paul Perella are really the only people I've ever heard say that it wasn't good, but it wasn't, in my opinion. We don't have to get into Mac Jones that much, but I think it's relevant to the point. I think McDaniels really made Mac Jones succeed, and as much as people want to talk about the screens and the conservative play calling, I think that's what McDaniels knew he had to do to have Mac Jones succeed, and he did a great job, because obviously you see next year Matt Patricia, a guy a little bit less, an unexperienced play caller, who, by the way, looking back on it, obviously he didn't do a good job, but this offense was terrible. I think what we can say is that McDaniels did a tremendous job. Not a very talented offense. Obviously, you have a little bit more talent than you have now. Kendrick Bourne was a little bit younger. He was a little bit better. He had his best season under Josh McDaniels. Nelson Aguilar wasn't exactly great, but he's a solid wide receiver 3 for the Ravens. He was running wind sprints here in 21. But obviously the Myers guy, there's nobody on this roster as good as Myers. The defense was a little bit better. Judon, like I said. No, I didn't say that, but Judon, younger. Lawrence Guy, obviously not here anymore, but Kyle Duggar was also younger. Josh Uche was starting to emerge a little bit, more 22 than 21, but Damian Harris as well in 21. And I think McDaniels did a tremendous job, right, with this roster, and making it good, because they made the playoffs and obviously McDaniels didn't do anything with the defense, but the offense was not great. If you want to run through the positions, let's do that real quick. You got Mac Jones, who's going to be out of the league in 2 years maybe, and he's got traded from the Patriots just 2 years after McDaniels left. So that's your quarterback. At running back, you have rookie Ramondre Stevenson. Hadn't really developed into what he is now. Not that he's any good now, but 2022 he breaks out. So 2021 wasn't great. Damian Harris, he was starting to decline a little bit, and he was still good. He was still good, but he wasn't as good as his 2020 self, which was his best year. Then at receiver, you obviously have Jacoby Myers, who's probably the best player on this offense at the time. Maybe not Joe Tooney probably was, but he was one of the best players on the offense at the time. You have Kendrick Bourne, you have Nelson Aguilar at receiver. Those guys aren't great, right? You've seen them in the years. Bourne, you've seen in the most recent years not doing great, not having the same production that he had under a guy like Josh McDaniels. Who else did you have at receiver then? Let me think about this. Receiver, you had Kristen Wilkerson that one time, but I guess that was kind of it, right? At receiver there. Sorry about that, but yeah, I guess that was a receiver. Tight end, you obviously had Hunter Henry. He's been good since. And then Jonnu Smith, he was never really able to not develop, but use properly in the McDaniels offense. I think they probably traded him too soon because I think he would have had like a career reviving season like he had this year in Miami, or if you even want to say last year in Atlanta under Bill O'Brien. He's better at using tight ends. I think they were a year off, let's just say that, from having that versatile tight end. Jaheim Bell obviously here now, he would have done numbers with Billy O, and I think Johnny would have done the same thing, even better with Billy O. But so McDaniels is a great hire, right? In my opinion, he's able to do the right thing with the players he has around him. Let's go back to 2020, Cam Newton, that team even less talented, right? The only good player on offense is Damian Harris, or the only two good players, 3, 4, whatever. You had a few good players on offense, but it was Damian Harris, it was Jacoby Myers, it was the N'Keal Harrys of the world, it was the Ryan Izzos, the Devin Asiasis, the Dalton Keens. Those guys were on your roster. The Isaiah Wynns, right? They were still on your roster. It wasn't a great team, obviously, and they still win 7 games with Cam Newton, who he was a better runner than Drake May, and he had 134 rush attempts that year. And Drake May's not going to run the ball 134 times in the same way between the guards or the tackles that he did. He's going to run outside the tackles to prevent injuries, and we already saw Drake May get 2 probably concussions this year. 1 technically, but the second one maybe was a concussion. Obviously, you're not going to run Drake May like that, but he ran Cam Newton in an effective way. He was able to use him well. Even when he could not throw the ball for shit, he was able to use Cam Newton, get 7 quality wins out of him, maybe even 8 if he plays in that Chiefs game where Brian Hoyer and Jared Stidham put up a shit show. Also, you want to talk about Jacoby Brissett, right? Obviously, they didn't come and prepare as well as they did for the Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo games against Kansas City in 2020 when they lost their starting quarterback. But still, they put up a good fight. But you want to go back to 2016 with a very good roster. You go 2-0 with Jimmy Garoppolo. You go 1-1 with Jacoby Brissett, losing to the Bills. That was not a great game from the start. If you don't remember, they got into a fight at the beginning of the game, and it kind of just went downhill from there. Edelman gets a touchdown called back. It is what it is, but right. So I think McDaniels is a great hire. Let's move on to defense, where I don't have as much to say about Terrell Williams. A guy has a lot of coaching experience, but he's never been a defensive coordinator before. He's never called plays in the NFL, but like I said, he has a lot of experience. He worked under Vrabel for 6 seasons in Tennessee. He just worked with the Lions for 1 year as their defensive line coach. So, a lot of experience. He worked, I think, 25 years of professional and college experience. So we'll see out of Terrell Williams. I'll go down the resume after I take a sip of water. I feel like that's so awkward. All right, anyways. Terrell Williams resume. Resume. All right. Here we go. His Wikipedia page. So he started coaching at Fort Scott in 1998 as a defensive line coach. Then he moved over in 99 to to the North Carolina A&T, not sure what that is. And then in 2002, he went to Youngstown State, defensive line coach again. He went to Akron in 2004 to 2005 as another defensive line coach. Purdue in 2006 to 2009. Texas A&M in 2010 to 2011 as a defensive line coach. Then he gets promoted to the NFL in 2012 with the Raiders. He was there for 2 years. Then with Miami for 2 years, also as the defensive line coach. Then he was with Tennessee for 6 years with Vrabel, like I said, also as the defensive line coach. And then in 2020, or that was 5 years, and then in 2023, he became the assistant head coach and the defensive line coach as well. Then with Detroit, he became the defensive line coach and the run game coordinator, and now he's the defense coordinator. So he's never had a role or a position where he wasn't the defensive line coach and something else. But yeah, so this is a big promotion for a guy like Terrell Williams. Like I said, he knows how to coach. We don't really know how good he is with the secondary, so I think it's important to keep a guy like Mike Pellegrino on, a proven cornerbacks coach who's like 26, 27 years old. Keep him on the staff. That would be great to keep the secondary moving nicely, make sure that that guy right there, Christian Gonzalez, is able to continue to progress and become the best corner in the NFL. So yeah, I think Terrell Williams is a good hire. The defensive line was certainly a problem last year, and it's probably going to be fixed this year as the your defensive coordinator is an experienced defensive line coach, unlike DeMarcus Covington, a guy that was in the NFL 2018, 2017 maybe, in his first years. This guy's been around the block. He knows what it takes to coach good defensive line football. Hopefully he's able to do it with the whole defense. And yeah, I'm hopeful for Terrell Williams, obviously. Yeah, so another cool story about Terrell Williams, but 2023 Rebels last year, he promoted him to the head coach for a preseason game. I don't know if they won the game, but so he knows what it takes to be the head coach. No, he doesn't. All right, last guy, they keep him around. Jeremy Springer, your special teams coordinator for the 2025 Patriots. This guy is a great energy guy, right? He's gonna pump up the crew. The special teams wasn't great last year. PFF ranked them second in like efficiency, I think. They were middle of the pack by everyone else, so it wasn't great. But it was better than the year before. You also lost a lot of special teams pieces: Cody Davis, Chris Board, Matthew Slater. 3 of the top 4 guys in the league leave. And the fourth guy's Brendan Schooler was on your team, so you probably had like 4 guys last year that were top 10 special team, just pure teamers in the league, and 3 of those guys leave, and you get better. It's got to be a coaching thing. Joe Judge was just so bad last year, but Jeremy Springer, not the greatest he is. I think he's one of the best coordinators, special teams coordinators in the league. Right, not that important, but still a little bit important. You want your special teams to be good. At least they weren't a problem. They did have some kicks blocked. They did have some punts blocked. They did block some punts. They blocked some kicks. I believe Schooler had some. Well, Schooler's the best special teamer in the NFL, but it is what it is. So yeah, Jeremy Springer will remain on as the special teams coordinator for your New England Patriots. So yeah. All right. What else we got going on here? We'll talk about some of the people that they reportedly hired to be like run game coordinators and stuff. And Jabril Peppers we can talk about as well. So T.C. McCartney's gone. He was the quarterbacks coach last year. They hired Clinton McMillan to be their pass rush coordinator. They hired Ohio State assistant quarterbacks coach Riley Larkin to an offensive assistant role. They hired Ashton Grant to be their quarterbacks coach. They hired Ryan Dunleavy to be a defensive assistant. And they hired, like I was talking about, John Stryker to be their Ernie Adams. I don't really know what you call it, but yeah. So there it is. Those are all the hires. Stretch, going to be the Ernie Adams, confirmed by Sean McVay. Let's talk about Peppers. We'll read the Gillette Nation post. Okay. After deliberating for an hour, a 6-person jury has found Patriots safety Jabril Peppers not guilty on all 3 assault domestic violence charges against him. Peppers testified himself in the trial, which lasted the past 2 days in Quincy, Massachusetts. From Mass Live's Charlie McKenna, under cross-examination from Norfolk Assistant Direct Attorney Abigail Bird, Peppers insisted he was not jealous of the woman and would not have been upset by her having relationships with other men, but he said he was upset that she wanted to sleep with other people and was asking me for things, referencing the woman asking for $2,000 to help pay her mortgage. Peppers conceded he was frustrated and angry with the woman on the night of the incident, but denied grabbing her neck, throwing her against the wall, or pushing her down the stairs. Under another line of questioning, Bird suggested Peppers could have manipulated the videos. Peppers could have manipulated the videos in some way, or not turned over all the videos he had that night. While he denied doing so, he said he had studied the videos thoroughly. This is the most important thing in my life, he said, adding he began filming because if it's your word against someone else's, that typically doesn't go well for the man. Bird concluded her questioning by asking Peppers about his football career and how he approaches playing safety. When I'm on the field, I want you to feel it, he testified. I want to hurt the person I'm tackling. That's not something I would say. Okay. No, yeah, so he's not guilty. I think he admitted to having cocaine, though, possession. That was the other part of his charges, so we'll see what happens with Peppers. Odd guy for sure, but yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow with another podcast, grading the Patriots season, whatever, talking awards, whatever you want to do, I don't even know. 16:50 in. We'll end this at 17, so follow me, Patriots3, follow Austin Ray, follow this, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Patriots Real Time, and we'll see you tomorrow.